The power is on the list, and when I reached over 10,000 newsletter subscribers for my studio, I couldn't believe it. Here's how it happens and how you can do it. Just a word of advice, it's not the usual strategy. I was in the process of expanding my studio, and my idea was to collect as much subscribers for my newsletter as possible. As you know, when you work with Steam, you don't have access to the people that wish list your game. And that's a bad thing. I want to have control of my list, and then I have to figure out how I could do that. The importance of having control of your own list is that if you release just one game and you present it on Steam, that's great. If you have a great wish list, you're going to sell a lot of that game. But it's just like that. If you want to sell another product, if you want to create another game and create expectations and a new wave of people that wish to play your new game, you can do it with the previous one. So the control is not on your side. I took this course of Angela Yu related to Kickstarter, how to prepare a Kickstarter campaign, and I used that content to prepare the Kickstarter for my own video game. In that moment, the Kickstarter was not really my goal. Well, of course, having the money to finish the game is great, but having the possibility of creating a big newsletter for my studio and for the things that I was planning to create, it is even more important. Any person that works in marketing will tell you that the power is on the list. And the reason is, once you have the list of all the followers, of the people that are interested in the content or the things that you are creating, you can create campaigns to promote the things that you are doing. And you use that list of subscribers in your newsletter to promote these services of these things that you are creating. Now let's talk about the beginner's mistake that many people is doing when they are preparing the launch of their own video games. And this is something that happens to people with a bit of experience or people that are just beginning to create their own games, to be honest. I've been interviewing hundreds of people for providing the services related to the Game Creator Accelerator, to the mentoring for the Game Creator Accelerator. And one thing I discovered as I contact more people that are starting in the gaming industry and they are creating their own projects is that they are only focused in the process of creating their projects, is learning the technology and learning how to solve the gameplay mechanics that they want to present for the game. Hey, that's not wrong, that's correct. But the thing is that you have to support yourself as well by creating a community of people that is going to follow you, that is going to like your work, that is going to make comments to make your work even better. And that's the big mistake that you find today. I've been talking with people that they already has some prototype of the game that they are creating. And when I ask them about their YouTube channel or their webpage where people can subscribe, they say, oh yeah, I'm working on it. That's a big mistake. Before starting creating your game, you need to have a webpage, a very simple webpage, but where people can subscribe. Of course, you're going to provide rewards, you're going to provide options, but you need to allow people to subscribe to your webpage. That's a key essential thing that you have to do. Every time I have the opportunity to remind this to my students, I do it. And it is this phrase that says, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? It applies the same thing for your video game. You can be creating a fantastic video game. You can be preparing your Steam page and you make the release of your video game. But if no one is prepared to receive your video game, does your video game really exist? The answer sadly is no, it doesn't exist. In fact, that's a valuable lesson that I learned from Valheim and Undertale and the way that they handle their fans before the releasing of their game. I recommend you to watch my other videos related to this topic. Now let's talk about the hacking approach I did. And remember, this got me 10,000 subscribers, newsletter subscribers of my website, ready to use for this project and for future projects, including the Game Creator Accelerator. In that moment, I was creating a game in 2D called Last Soul. I have 2 levels that I can present to players, that I want to present, in fact, to players, to collect more information from them and to improve the experience. So I created a Kickstarter campaign and made connections with a lot of people. At the same time, I prepare a page on Steam to promote my Kickstarter campaign and to create more noise related to the game that I was creating. Even though it was an investment that I did on Steam, it was worth it because I created a prologue version of my game that I can give for free to people once they subscribe to my newsletter. The mechanics of Last of Us has a great tune, and I collect a lot of information from the gamers to improve them even more. The result was a visual appealing product that people want to try. Then started the second part of the strategy. My consideration was that I could collect 1,000 emails from 1 month of my game, and Steam provided me with keys that I can give to other people for free once they subscribe to my newsletter. So everything looks fantastic so far. What I never considered was that in 1 week I could collect 10,000 emails. It was crazy. So I didn't have enough keys to give to people, and I couldn't even give them because there were so many that, sending one email for every person, it took me like, I don't know how much time it would take me. And because I didn't want to damage the reputation of myself, my studio, and the product, I decided that the best course of action was, well, I already have 10,000 subscribers. Let's just give this game for free to anybody. Today, you can play the prologue of Last Soul for free, and I already collected at that moment 10,000 subscribers, and that list has been expanding for several years. You are going to make some mistakes in your career that will be very good for you. In this case, I use Kickstarter, Steam, and my newsletter list of my webpage to expand my career in other directions in the future. What I'm telling you today is a very important trick that you can turn in your direction to create the same effect. But the most important thing you have to keep in mind is that you have to create a list since the first day of the development of your game. If you ask me today, hey, I have a game, but it is almost ready to launch the Kickstarter campaign, and I'm planning to finish it in 3 months, I would recommend you to sacrifice your game in order to create a newsletter list. You need that list. It's not for your first game, it is for what's coming after that first game. Yeah, sure, you will say, hey, Tony, how can you consider that? I've been working in this game for 1 year or something like that. If you don't have the support of the community to launch your game, do not release that game. You need to build community. You need to build your newsletter. It's not only about the wish list, it's about your newsletter, something that will provide you with control. Because if that game doesn't work, you at least has the list. You at least are going to have the list that you will use for your next project. But people already know you. They know what you are creating, they know your path, and they know that they want to continue be on your side. Remember that building a career in video games doesn't have to be a game that you are going to publish. It could be the possibility of using your games to find job positions, job opportunities in different areas while you are developing your own independent projects. The best approach you can give to yourself and to the conditions of the market where, believe me, if you haven't been part of a layoffs in the gaming industry and you are part of a studio, you eventually will be part of. You need to create your own path, the thing that will allows you in the mid and long term to be totally independent and to do your things, to create your products, to create all the type of things related to video games, but not feeling the stress of the industry. I created a methodology with the Game Creator Accelerator that is based on that. You don't have to put all the eggs on the same nest. You can develop your independent career while you're working in the gaming industry. But first you have to show what you're doing. You use YouTube to present the content that you are creating, the things that you are developing, and you are sharing that in the rest of the social medias like LinkedIn to find job opportunities. Once you find the job opportunities, you can continue doing your job independently to build your future. If you find value in what I share with you, please hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any tricks of how to build your career in video game one step at a time. Until next time, keep creating, keep sharing, and most importantly, keep dreaming big. I'll see you soon, my fellow creators.